Hello, wonderful human. Welcome to episode 93, I think it is. So, yes, today's message is around becoming curious about your breath. Beyond just observing the breath, today's episode is really about allowing the breath to be truly felt. So, just before I came on here, I was connecting to the breath, closing the eyes, and actually just thinking about what is today's topic going to be about. And as I was doing that, I started to sense the feeling of how it kind of felt like I felt restricted in my lungs as I was breathing, like I wasn't able to expand them fully. I almost felt like there was something that was kind of keeping them back. I was struggling to breathe down deep into the belly. And I was really connected to the visceral feeling and the sensation that was happening in my nose. So I could really feel that airflow traveling through both my left and my right nostril. So, yes, how often do we take the time to become curious about our breath? If this is your first time here, halala, welcome. And if you're coming back, wow, you brave soul. As always, sunny bonani dumalang goeie aand, afternoon, bon dia. So, discussion around the breath for me is always such a fascinating topic. Because when I go into spaces and places and I conduct these embodiment sessions with these magical humans, I'm always so intrigued about their relationship to the breath. At first, it almost seems like an obvious one, like, ask them, have you ever been taught how to breathe properly? How often do you slow time down in the day to foster that connection to the breath in a way that is completely removed from any distraction? And one that facilitates you really being present with the breath, feeling it in all parts of the body, feeling not only that expansion and maybe the high that the breath gets you to, but also that constriction and feeling into those parts of you that feel really like tight and constricted and can't open up. And I guess those are the parts for me that become really interesting and that I become really curious about. And the next part or the next phase that people automatically want to go to is the why. Why can't I breathe there? Why am I feeling suddenly this pain and this ache and this, the analysis paralysis of the mind begins to set in. And I guess this episode here today now for me as I'm chatting about it is just a reminder to honor the process of just the observation. Honor the process of just being fully conscious and present and connected to the breath. Become curious about it in a way that is just observing what's going on without the need to go into the understanding of the why and the how and what's happening. Just observe. Just observe. Just become curious of the depth of the breath, the length of the breath. Observe if the inhalation is longer than the exhalation. Observe if you're breathing short and shallow or deep and long. And as you're engaging with the breath, play a little bit around, play with the breath. What happens to the body when you start to breathe like short and shallow? How do you start to feel? What happens to your body when you start to slow the breath down and breathe really slowly but deep and mindfully. What happens to the body when you just take in 2 quick short breaths and sigh it out? How does it make you feel? I guess another aspect and element that I want to chat about before I say sayonara and farewell, adios, I want to chat about this aspect and element of how I observe my clients finding it so difficult to release. Even releasing a good old powerful sigh out through the mouth is something that makes them feel so uncomfortable. Like you can literally see it inside their body and how they carry themselves. That in-breath is easy, but that powerful exhalation or the deep sigh and the noise that comes with it is something that I observe very frequently being, I'm not sure if people are afraid of it or if like there's this thing of like holding onto it. Like you don't want to let it go. You don't want to release it. You don't want to shout it out and release, like release the dragon, so to speak. And that's made me just so curious within myself. And I guess the more of these embodiment sessions I offer and I engage and interact with other souls and beings and energies and energetics, I'm given the opportunity and the privilege to see how that contrast relates in my life. It's almost like you're being held up a mirror and it's giving you the opportunity to observe how I and you conduct and carry yourself. So the more I do this work and the more I aid and foster processes which facilitate other humans coming into their bodies, being connected to movement with the body and breath with the body, I am so intrigued just to observe where humans are. And through that observation, I'm able to sense and feel where some of those constrictions and restrictions are kind of taking place and where there are evident blockages within the physical vessel, beyond just the chakras and the alignment that we're seeking within those meridian points, but perhaps aspects and elements and stories that have literally been stored inside parts of the body. I guess that's what I love about movement and what I love about embodiment is because the body never lies, ever. The mind might play a few little tricks, tell stories for days, the face pretends, but even within the face, there are these little nuances, these little subtle placements of the muscles that also tell a story. So, I've just become such an avid custodian and fan of the human body, especially in the past decade. And I rise more and more and more in awe and in love with the body, be it through the body's relation and connection to Gnostic texts, like the fact, simple example, Jesus died or was crucified at the age of 33. Do you know that we have 33 vertebrae or 33 points within our spinal column, going all the way to the top and bottom? And that there is this beautiful liquid, this oil, anointed oil, that runs along and inside the spine. And just like all these like links that, you know, we read all within the text of the Bible. And I feel like, not to say that there wasn't a man by the name of Yeshua or Jesus that walked on this earth, but I have no doubt that all of these Gnostic and all of these beautiful texts that we've been given the honor and privilege of coming to know is a direct relation and like correlating story around the physical body and the physical anatomy. There's things that happen in our body that's known as the baptism. There's craniosacral, the colostrum, you know, Father Christmas going up and down. And guys, I can go on for days, okay? And I don't even feel like I'm equipped to like speak about this stuff yet. I'm just taking in this knowledge right now, digesting and processing it, and me speaking about it or regurgitating it probably wouldn't even be doing it justice. There are amazing humans out there that are far more well-versed in this little aspect and area. But yeah, I am in absolute awe. And the more I learn about Gnostic texts, or the more I learn about certain aspects and elements of religion and how it relates to the physical vessel and the anatomy, it blows my mind. Like it really, really does. So yes, today was a bit like all over the place. That's okay. I've stopped posting diligently every single day. And I did feel a little bit guilty about that initially. But I've also come to recognize and honor the fact that I have got so many little micro habits that are going on in my life right now that I need to almost space and pace myself. And this aspect and element of giving myself perhaps a day or two off posting on this particular channel also gives me a moment to just recalibrate myself so that when I do come back, I almost feel like I'm a little bit more present in the here now moment. And it's not just something I'm doing out of habit or repetition. I just feel a little bit more grounded, and I'm able to see the difference from the previous recording to the current recording if I allow for that 1 day space or for that gap. So yes, that's been something that's been interesting for me as well. And it's allowed as well, right? Yeah, so I guess me posting here is really still a form of accountability for myself so that I can facilitate and foster communicating better, observing facial expressions, observing tone of voice, how I carry myself, if there's any little habitual tics and twicks and phrases that I perhaps use. So this particular channel and this particular daily vlog still remains exactly that. It remains an opportunity and a space and place and portal for me to connect with myself, get to know myself, and witness the creation that is me through a fucking video camera. I mean, how epic and amazing is that shit? So yes, magical being, we've spoken about the breath, we've spoken about the body, and we've spoken about just showing up, I guess. As always, continue to sow those seeds, allow for the flow and the magic and current of life to just guide you along so that you may continue to grow, illuminate, and glow. Until tomorrow's or perhaps the day after's episode. Stay wondrous, stay bright, and keep shining your unique and wondrous light. Cheers.